On Point is brought to you by Dargin Global.
A very good evening and welcome to On Point. My name is Patria Kay.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
And we've got a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah.
Dennis, obviously, the top of the discussion is going to be about the performance of the athletes at the recently concluded World Championships.
Yeah, the two highlights to me were number one, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Boom!
I've just always admired her, her humility and the way she just seems to just do so much more, in terms of her effort.
Don't leave Shelly yet, because the humility and the humanity that she brought, that moment when she won her gold medal, a gold medal that was hard fought for. People were wondering whether or not Shelly was back, and she showed, I'm here and I'm here to stay. And then she celebrated her victory lap with her 2-year-old son Zion on her shoulders. Like, what other image does the world need than that? Yeah,
no, Shelly is a fantastic person. I mean, Shelly, I've always admired her a lot. Veronica, Usain, Asafa. I mean, that generation coming from that time was just remarkable. And
there's a conversation that's happening in the space of track and field about who will the new face be. In the absence of an effervescent, camera-ready, antic always Usain Bolt, what is the new personality that you bring? Who is the new personality that represents the face of track and field in the same way that you used to look at Usain Bolt and he summed up the entire field? Who do you now look to? And a working mother, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, is poised to become that face for the next Olympics.
No, I definitely think it's Shelly-Ann. I don't see anyone else who's going to take up that mantle, regrettably. But the truth is that we've been spoiled by a fantastic period. I mean, a once-in-a-lifetime period of all these great athletes, four of the fastest men in the world.
Unreal.
At the time.
One little island of less than 3 million people. We're ranked third in the world in the games, behind Kenya and the United States.
But the thing that really got me at the World Championship was the field events. Tajay.
Gold medal.
Yeah, Dakers.
Fantastic.
Thomas Dodd.
We walked away with 4 field event medals in the games this year. And
the long jump, I think it was Ricketts.
You actually accept it within 2 minds. Certainly I do, because as much as I celebrate and I say yes, because I've been wanting a diversification of the sports that we not only participate but excel in for a very long time, I also wonder, does this mean that track is in trouble?
I don't think so.
Nobody expected us to get these medals, and the tally count going into the games was anywhere between 12 and 13. We got that, but the expectation was that 12 and 13 were going to be track medals.
Yeah, but we also got some good track medals, the 4x4 women. The 4x1 women, right? I mean, they were just unfortunate, I think, in the 4x4 because they ran fantastically. Shericka Jackson in the 400. So I think we did pretty well.
But what happened to our relay men? 4x1, you could close your eyes and know Jamaica's going to start.
I think the men are in a slump right now. I think the men are in a slump. And it always comes back to that interview Bolt did where he said that the younger guys are just not putting in the time now. And I don't know if you ever read this book by Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers. He says there's no one born exceptional. People just put in more time. And I think that is what the edge that the people of those era of Bolt and Shelly-Ann had over them.
Absolutely.
But it's good that we can talk about that. But coming up, we're going to be talking to Stephen Shaw from the NWA about another important event that has been happening for over the past year, which is the roadworks, and what damage has been done to the road with the recent rains and how we're going to deal with that. But before we look at that, let's take a look back at some of the top business stories of the week.
At number 5, another multi-billion-dollar ruling against pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson. The company has been told to pay $8 billion in punitive damages to a man over claims he was not warned that an antipsychotic drug could lead to breast growth. A Philadelphia jury made the award, which Johnson & Johnson says it will appeal. At number 4, a silver lining seems to be appearing for those affected by the Thomas Cook collapse. All 555 Thomas Cook shops are to be bought by rival Hayes Travel in a move that could save up to 2,500 jobs. The independent travel agent said the move gives it shops in areas where it had little or no presence. At number 3, the Jamaican government is reporting that the first 4 months of the 2019-2020 fiscal year, that's April to July 2019, has seen revenue and grant inflows totaling just over $202 billion. This is 2% higher than budgeted and 8.9% more than the corresponding period last year. The better than budgeted outturn has been attributed to tax revenue inflows of $179.8 billion and non-tax revenue totaling $19.4 billion, which were 2.1% and 3.1% higher than their respective targets. At number 2, $38 million has been allocated to fund a forensic audit of oil losses at State Refinery Petrojam. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the allocation is a demonstration that the government is serious about getting to the bottom of the problems at Petrojam. Prime Minister Andrew Holness ordered the audit last December to explain oil losses. The Auditor General will oversee recruitment of the forensic auditor for the undertaking. At number 1, former Education Minister Ruel Reid was taken into custody early Wednesday morning following a pre-dawn raid. Also arrested were Ruel Reid's wife, his daughter, Caribbean Maritime University President Professor Fritz Pinnock, and Counsel for the Brownstown Division in St. Anne, Kim Brown Lawrence. They were charged with breaches of the Prevention of Corruption Act, conspiracy to defraud, misconduct in a public office of common law, and breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act. They all appeared in court Thursday morning where they were granted bail.
When we come back, On Point will be Jamaica's roads.
Outsourced finance and accounting service. Growing companies face a challenge. For you to stay focused on building your business, you need solid financial management with a dependable accounting function, a resource you may not have in-house. That's where we come in. Dodgen Global provides startups and other businesses with outsourced accounting and finance solutions on a fixed fee basis. No matter what your size or fundraising status, we can tailor our services to fit your needs at every stage of your company's life cycle. Whether you want to add expertise to your existing team or completely outsource your accounting and finance functions, we offer reliable and economical options, including accounting system installations and upgrades, from simple to complex, help establishing preferred banking, legal, payroll, benefits, and HR relationships, paperless online bill payment and bookkeeping, financial reporting and advice for management and investors, financial statement audit management, sales tax compliance. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Welcome back to On Point. Now, the recent rains here in Jamaica gave Jamaica a multi-million-dollar bill. Several roads crumbled under the water. But why? And where are we with the repairs? We're talking about it today with Customer Service and Communications Manager at the NWA, Stephen Shaw. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, good evening.
Thanks for coming. Stephen, roads, what's wrong with the roads? It has been the talk of the town for a long time now.
Yes, I mean, and the roads will continue to be the talk of the town because most Jamaicans depend on roads to get to and fro. And, you know, all the services that we requires us driving from one place to another. And how else do we get around on the island but via road in the main? So roads will always be in the mix where discussions are concerned.
Let's get to the budgeting of what happened of the last 2 weeks. Rains. What's the actual figure that we're looking at in terms of repairs from the recent bout of rains?
Well, the Prime Minister did speak in Parliament and gave some numbers. And those numbers would have been preliminary based on what would have happened up to that time. We're still in the mode where all of those numbers are being crunched. But what I can say is that we have been able to reopen all the affected corridors in those parishes that were severely impacted. All but 2 corridors would have remained closed, and that is because we need to do significant civil works.
And those 2 are?
There is Job's Lane over in St. Catherine, that's near the motor vehicle exam depot, and then there is a road from Lower Chapelton to Rock River, and that particular corridor requires a couple of retaining walls, and we need to also replace some culverts that have collapsed beneath the road.
And I'm going to go back to the budgeting, because when you sit down for a financial year and you plan roadworks that are expected, a repair budget, it's modest, I assume.
Yes.
Nobody anticipates 2 weeks worth of rain that will decimate some roads in the country that will have to be repaired with urgency. How do you budget for that, and how do you finance that budget?
Well, we, every year, as a matter of fact, roundabout now, we put together a program and a budget based on the program that we would have formulated. We get funding from a couple of sources. There is the funding that we would get from what used to be the road maintenance fund. That's monies where we get 1/3 of the motor vehicle licensing fees. And we also get budgetary support from the government otherwise. And so we will get somewhere in the region of $2.5 billion at the outset. And usually, and that is for routine
Everyday
activities.
maintenance, yes.
Right. We will get additional funds to execute works under what we refer to as the Capital B program.
Mm-hmm.
So the Capital B would be like the Mandela Highway, Constant Spring Road, Hagley Park Road, South Coast Highway, and the like. Those big mega projects.
But act of God, 2 weeks of rain, you're not getting additional funds to pay for that, so something will suffer.
Well, the government has the responsibility to treat with those things. Our duty is to ensure that we respond, and our response will entail cleaning and clearing, and to ensure that persons can go about and the business of the country does continue. As it relates to the payment of the bills, that is something that the Ministry of Economic Growth and the Ministry of Finance, those 2 ministries charged with that responsibility, they will deal with that aspect of the government.
You just get the job done.
The estimate for the damage that day was about $500 million, no? Wasn't it?
It's somewhere in the region of over 600 million.
Over 600 million.
And that would have included events coming from April up.
But one of the things I want to ask, so Stephen, I from time to time I meet up on Mark Barnett from NWC, right?
Yes.
And it seems as if, even we're doing some roads and things, but we really have an infrastructural problem, Our infrastructure is really crumbling,
You know, we do have an infrastructure problem.
Yeah.
What have we been doing as it relates to the problem that we have. So we have put together some programs, with the latest being the Major Infrastructure Development Program, through which we have treated with significant portions of our network. And we have used a different approach in that hitherto, where a road will be built, drains put in, but the effort to put in or to improve the water infrastructure or the sewage infrastructure would not have been part and parcel of the overall road construction.
And you guys got licks for that.
And rightly so. Now, the government has taken a different approach in executing these works. So we are doing, not the road is coming at the back end of all the other infrastructural works. So in effect, you have 4 projects or 5 going on at the same time. So we're improving the sewage infrastructure or putting in where none exists.
Yes.
We're improving the water delivery. We're removing poles, putting in sidewalks, and then we are putting in the roads. Also, the telecommunications companies use the opportunity to also upgrade their own infrastructure.
But we still have moments where there are repairs, because Dennis talks about an aging infrastructure. We have old pipes, and there are very many times that the road has to be dug up to be able to access that.
Yes.
Whose responsibility is it to fix that road after it's dug up?
If, let us say, we have completed the activities, everything is back to normal, there is a burst pipe beneath the road, it is the authority with responsibility for water, in this case, NWC, that will be responsible for, first of all, fixing the leak, and there will be some engagement afterwards where the fixing of the particular bit of road is concerned, based on the more recent discussions that we have been having between the two entities.
So that repair would be done by you at NWC's expense?
That is based on the agreement that we would have at that particular time between ourselves and the NWC. If that is the arrangement, then that is what is going to be done.
Because the complaint of many
yes,
is the quality of those repairs that's done.
Yes.
The time frame in which those repairs are done and the actual quality of the work. NWC can't come back and check that it was done properly because they don't know what they're checking for.
Yes.
NWA is the road authority. And there's the sentiment, the feeling that if there are road works done and a repair eventually happens,
Yes.
it's substandard.
Yeah, and we have heard the complaints, and we have actually seen some of these things. We have written, and that is why I think there is a greater effort at collaborating, at having the particular entity with the know-how doing that which they are competent and capable of doing. And so if the Water Commission in this instance, there is no doubt that they are the water authority. They know much more about the movement of water and how to fix leaks and so on than we do. Our job is to ensure that the road stands up after all of that would have been done. There are times when the Water Commission may engage private contractors to carry out its work. In recent times, we have been engaged to carry out those types of repairs, and that agreement is in force, and it continues to be honored by both sides.
But as Patricia is saying, though, shouldn't it be a policy that anything to do with the road is done by NWA, and then whatever organization is so compensated for?
Well, I mean, when it comes to policy and where policy goes or doesn't go, at our level, at the operational level, we really have no control. So that is something that you would better direct at the policymakers and not at the operational individuals such as myself.
Because we've suffered because of that, for a very long time. I mean, I see the improvements in terms of the collaboration that takes place between NWC and NWA. But as Patricia said, the quality of the roads. I mean, NWC is, it's like you're sending a tailor to do a carpenter job, because their expertise is just not fixing road.
As I said, and we have recognized, as I've said earlier, the challenges and the difficulties that the arrangements that existed hitherto, where you have one silo here, another silo there, and then the two are not really on the same level.
And they're under two separate ministries, eh?
Right now, we're under the same ministry. It's the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
Let me ask a stupid question. Roads have a warranty?
The contract. When you do work with a certain value, you have what is referred to as a defects liability period, and that period may go up to a year, depending on the size of the contract. Now, there is an argument that has been put forward, and there are some persons within the organization who shares the view that we should have a longer period where if defects appear, then the contractor will be responsible, subject to different things. And so when you have let us say, a Mandela Highway, where you'd have spent roughly $65 million US, and you have a defects period for a year, I mean, you see, something, one could make an argument that period is too short for such an expenditure.
But even
but
on the other
that
end,
is something that again, policymakers will have to look.
Even on the other end, if we don't go as far as the 65 million US Mandela Highway, people will tell you that there's a pothole in my community that is notorious.
Right.
That if it is fixed today, I guarantee you in 3 months it will appear again for another bout of repairs. That second and third and fourth bout of repairs. Is NWC paying for that? Are taxpayers paying for that? Or is that contractor coming back to fix it?
I need to put that pothole into perspective. No. Many times when we go out and patch a road, it is because there is an inherent weakness in the surface and or base of that particular road. So you have a breakdown, the surface might have oxidized, old, aged, it cracks and lends itself to bits and pieces popping out, especially whenever you have heavy rains, as we have experienced in recent times. So you go and you patch that hole. But the cracks are there, maybe not visible to you driving by, but if you should come out of your car and look, you'll see those what we refer to as crocodile cracks. That crack is beside that area that was patched.
Okay.
Water seeps into that.
And leak under it again.
And it pops back out.
I mean, because that area is newly done, it's more vulnerable.
Sometimes there is that. Other times, you may have a leak that is beneath the road, or you may have subsurface water, a storm water that is flowing beneath the surface of the road. So there are many different things that could have or that can contribute to one having to fix a pothole 2 or 3 times.
But who tracks that budget
or
the operations to say we have fixed this pothole 60 times at a cost of X? We need to stop now and fix the underlying problem because this is getting beyond the point at where patching it every 3 months
Yes.
is economically viable?
You know, again, we go back to the budget that we'll make for the fixing of roads. Now, if we put together a budget and we ask for, let us say, $100 million to resurface a road that has a good base, but then you're given, or the vote on that particular item is only $10 million. The only thing you can do is $10 million worth of work. So if that $10 million is really to patch an area to ensure that the road does not fall beyond a certain level, especially if it is being used, if it is being heavily used by traffic, then that is just what we have to do. So it is not something that the agency would want to do, but it is what we must, given the constraints that we are faced with on a daily basis.
Hold the thought, Stephen. When we come back, we want to talk to you about some of the extensive road work that's been going on for an extensive period of time across Kingston City. More after the break.
Internal audit. Internal audit service is vital when organizations aim to achieve reliable financial reports and regulatory compliance, navigating risks, streamlining operations, and promoting stakeholder confidence. The benefits of a high-quality internal audit are limitless, especially when you secure yours from a firm with deep industry experience, exposure to hundreds of organizations, dedicated professionals, and proven methodologies. Whether you're looking to establish an internal audit function, attain or maintain compliance with various regulations, mitigate your risk of fraud, or gain an overall assessment of your internal controls, you can count on Dodgen Global for reliable and timely business solutions. We've helped organizations nationwide and across industries to establish internal control structures, create an internal audit function, or improve an existing one, and maintain regulatory compliance. We provide ongoing education as regulations and public perceptions change. We are trusted advisors for management and boards. External auditors can be confident in our work and its results. Let Dodgen Global be a turnkey solution for your organization. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Welcome back to On Point. We're here speaking with Stephen Shaw, who is the manager for communications at NWA. You'd have noticed, everyone would have noticed about the roadworks that have been going on over the past year, Stephen? Or so, over a year
and a half, going 2 years, yes.
So I know that's what we want to start with.
We want to find out
what's happening with the road repairs.
We have made significant progress, and I can speak to start in the west, the road from Ferris to Markfield. If you have not been in the west in recent times, then I invite you to take us on the ride out that side. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the new road and the quality road that is there for persons to travel easier between Montego Bay and Savannah Lamar, Black River, and so on.
That's going over the hill?
No, it's actually, when you reach the Ferris, traveling from the border of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth,
right.
Fonthill, White
Right,
House, coming through Cave,
Okay.
all the way down. Yes,
Yes.
Belmont. Yeah, you take that right turn when you get at the gas station at Ferris, and it takes you to through Deans Valley, Withorn, Haddo, and those places heading towards Montego Bay.
And it's not just
New road.
resurfacing of that road. That road is actually also
Newly
being,
reconstructed.
yes.
Corners have been taken out, new alignment, as I said, new bit of road, wide, can accommodate the types of vehicles that are now using our roads.
Stephen, on that, the types of vehicles, because when you go to like, and in the past, one of the criticisms is that the contractors used to work on the roads, they never do it properly, because as soon as two heavy trucks drive on it,
Yes.
you have a problem. St. Thomas,
And then
for
they blame
example.
the trucks and say they're overloaded.
Yeah. Okay. No. We do have a problem with overladen trucks. There is no getting around that. That has been scientifically proven. We have weighed, we have observed, and we know that there is a problem with our trucks being overweight.
And we do what about it? Because I've seen scales put on the side of the
From
road.
the standpoint of the National Works Agency, because remember, it's joint up government, our responsibility is to ensure that we design and build roads to accommodate the legal loads. Now, the legal load for, let us say, a 10-wheeler truck is 25 tons, including payload. In other words, truck and both
Chassis
truck,
and
chassis,
cargo.
and load should not exceed 25 tons. Some trucks carry an extra axle, and that will account for an additional 5, so that truck can carry maybe 30.
Yes.
But what do we have? We have vehicles carrying upwards of 40 tons. And that not only does damage to the roads, but also to the very vehicles that they're driving. And the truth is, many of these operators, these drivers, they are aware of the fact that they're overloading. They're also aware of the penalties, but some of them are not aware of the potential damage, and not just potential, the actual damage that they're doing to their vehicles. And I have to know this.
This must be
because
hard to enforce, though, Stephen. How do you look at a truck? How do you police this in a way
All right.
to ensure that you catch the culprit?
We have, again, you're taking me outside of
The NWA's realm,
realm.
absolutely.
Right. But that is really for the Ministry of Transport to treat with. And I know that it is something that has received their attention and is receiving their attention through the way stations. The police have been working with the Island Traffic Authority, where they have mobile scales. I can't speak to, how frequent they do these spot checks, but I'm aware of the overall program.
And I just ask you because it's going to require a joint-up approach. It's going to require a multi-pronged effort, because you have to deal with the consequences of an overladen truck. How do the various players come in and function to ensure that taxpayers don't have to fix another road because of a heavy truck?
And from our standpoint, what we're doing is that in designing these roads, we take into account the fact of the heavier vehicles, not just the vehicles plus the load, but the vehicles in and of themselves are bigger, heavier than those that would have been using our roads when these roads were designed.
I want to get back. Go ahead.
So that is part and parcel of the consideration when we design and build new
So,
roads.
Stephen, what does it do to your budget if you were to design for a 30-ton truck
Yes.
rather than a 40-ton truck? That's a significant increase in the budget, eh?
It is, because you have to now look at the amount of base that you're going to be putting on. You may have to, if the subgrade is not as solid as you would want it to be, you have to ensure that you get a very good subgrade, because a lot of times the failure is not just in the base, but the failure is deep.
Below it.
And so you have to then go in and you have to excavate, take out what we call the bad material, put in good material, compact, and then come up. So all of that we have to consider. If you for the base, sometimes, and we have used to good effect. For example, Marcus Garvey Drive, we did a stabilized base. This is where we actually mix the material, the fines, the stones, with cement, and we spread it, damp it a little bit, roll it, and so it's harder. It's like a concrete road almost when you're finished with that.
We're
But of course,
veered
there's a cost.
Absolutely. We veered off a little bit, and I don't want us to not get the update
Yes.
on the big projects that are out there. We started in the west. I want
Right.
to jump over to the east. 2 projects in particular. 1 junction, 2 that St. Thomas to Portland stretch.
All right, the junction road is continuing. We are at a point now where we are still excavating in an area that is exceedingly precarious.
Yeah.
We have had to restrict the movement of vehicular traffic for every day as we continue with the extensive earth movement and also the blasting of huge rocks in that area near the Broadgate community. We expect that by the end of this month, we should be significantly there as it relates to completing the heavy lifting along that particular corridor. Subject, of course, to the weather allowing the contractor to do the kind of work that is necessary, because we have had some setbacks during this period when we have had the inclement weather.
People are most interested in the end dates. Inclement weather, setbacks, they want to know when will this be over.
And so we, I would say now we're just going into the second week of October. I would say, I can say a little bit more after the end of next week, when the contractor would have done quite a bit of work, and then we'll be in a position to assess where they are, what is left to be done as it relates to the heavy lifting. And so we'll be in a position to possibly speak to
Some criticisms, though, about that particular leg.
Yes.
People are feeling like it's moving slower than certainly some of the other projects that we would have seen underway.
And it's not just a feeling, it is factual that it had been moving a little slowly. And we have had conversations with the contractor. We have actually...
Is this a local contractor?
It's a local contractor.
Yes.
And I think in recent weeks, they would have upped their game. And so we are seeing a bit more productivity.
I have to, I have to press you a little bit more on that, because people are making juxtapositions.
Yes.
Chinese work move fast. Local contractors are moving slower.
Yes.
And so the question is, 1, does it have to be that way? And 2, with all the roadworks that are happening with Chinese crews, is there no learnings that's happening on those projects that's being passed on to local contractors? Or if we want a fast road, we're going to always have to turn to the Chinese?
No, let me say, you're not comparing apples and apples here. You cannot compare a junction road with a Mandela Highway, Marcus Garvey Drive, Hagley Park Road, or a Constance Spring Road.
But you can compare it with a north-south.
But hold on. In the case of the north-south, I was not there. I cannot tell you what it is that they were actually doing or they did. I don't know to what extent anywhere along the north-south where they had to do major cuts. They had
But
traffic,
that took a very long
live
time.
traffic, meaning persons having to go along a road every day while they were doing that. For the most part, the Chinese would have been working in what we call virgin territory.
Yes.
They had no encounters with motorists or people.
Not having to open back the road at 3 o'clock and
Exactly. So, you know, those little nuances, persons would not necessarily understand. They didn't have houses close by where in carrying out your activities, you have to be mindful that you don't do anything to compromise a structure or structures nearby. So, you know, I'm not so sure that those comparisons
Yeah.
are
And
reasonable.
the soil type is different too, eh?
All of that
Very
I
much
consider,
different.
Yes.
But
are we learning
the-
from the Chinese?
I am sure that learning would have taken place. I am absolutely sure. I mean, I recall, I tell this story of a young lady I met some years ago, no longer in Jamaica, mark you. She worked on the Rio Grande Bridge as a steel woman, let me call her that, tying those steel, those rebars that weighed, I don't think the three of us can lift one. That's how heavy they are. And she was so good. She learned on this project, went to Westmoreland Bridge, which is also near the junction there, and she did that work. And I believe she was recruited, and she's in Canada, I'm told, when I inquired about her. Very good. She's just one of the many persons who would have learned on the job, and you know, Jamaica, I think, is better for it, even though
I was going to
she's
celebrate
not
for
here.
2 seconds exactly, and then I hear that she gone to Canada.
No, but I mean, but that opportunity to do so well and to make her life better came out of
And the hope
these projects.
is that others have learned and stayed.
Many
But
persons have.
Stephen, you know, one of the things I want to ask you though, I mean, we're happy for the roadworks, right?
Yes.
And particularly junction, I mean, I think that's a great improvement that's happening, right? But there was so much inconvenience. Couldn't it have been better organized? I think particularly about businesses
Yes.
that have suffered and have to close down because of the roadworks.
Well, let me lump up some others in that same question. Not just Junction. Let's talk about Hagley
Yeah.
Park. Let's talk about Constant Spring
Spring.
Road and those casualties
Yeah.
of development.
Yes, you know, in looking, in doing our own assessments, I think that there are things that could have been done differently. There are things that we will certainly take from our experiences on both projects. And I believe that the country will be in a position to judge us and see just how well or how badly we would have done, consequent on the experiences that we would have gained from the implementation of these projects.
You can't get the passing grade yet because motorists are still mourning. I hear
Yes.
people talk about their tires on Constant Spring Road, on
Yes.
sections of Marcus Garvey with exposed potholes.
No, not
Not potholes, not Marcus Garvey, on Hagley Park with exposed
All right.
manhole covers,
All right.
sharp edges.
And they're correct. But I tell you this, in the ensuing weeks, and I stand ready to be back here in a couple of programs where I'm sure the conversation is going to be much different, because at this point we are now putting on the second layer of asphalt on both Hagley Park Road and Constant Spring Road, where the manhole covers are going to be on par with those with the asphalt.
But if I
Because
leave here tonight and
yes.
bust my tire on a manhole cover or hit up my undercarriage on one of those
Yes.
manhole covers, do I send Stephen Shaw and NWA the bill?
No, you send a bill to the
government.
contractor,
Which is who?
China Harbour.
Send the bill to China Harbour.
If you have a bill, send it to them.
But
They are the contractors.
my view on it though, you know. My view on it though, you know.
Oh.
I mean,
Yes.
my view on it though, is that I mean I see the potholes protruding. I don't think it can damage your undercarriage or anything, but people must drive carefully.
Dennis can say that because he drives a big van. For the people with
No,
the
but
little
pe-
vehicles that are
no, but
close to
pe-
the road, they have a different
No, but people must
experience.
drive carefully. I mean, you're driving on a road and you see all of this thing. Take your time and drive.
And remember, it's a 25 km zone.
Yeah.
It's not a, even though you see blacktop, you see nice pavement, not finished, but people still treat it as an
Yes.
invitation to speed.
I get in
Should
the
be.
rap signal. On the vein of not finished, when will all this, certainly within the KMTR, when will it be finished?
At the end of this month, I think we are going to be significantly there. We have a couple of things that must be done, and these are crucial. We want to ensure that all the new pipelines are tested, given the green light, and the old lines that continue to leak like a sieve, these are retired. Because, like you said earlier, or Dennis might have said it, doesn't make any sense we have a new road,
Yeah.
and so often we have breaks in this old line, which is going to be causing problems for all and sundry. So we want to ensure that all the tests are done, new lines pass, cut over takes place, people are put on the new system, and we should be good.
Are we
agree.
carrying these roadworks into 2020?
I believe
You must have
based
some,
on
yeah.
based on where we are now and the fact I spoke to earlier of a defects liability period, from that standpoint, yes.
The only thing I would say, Stephen, is as we continue this well-needed work, we must ensure that there's as little disruption as possible to businesses because it makes
Too
no
late
sense.
for
Yeah.
that. On that note, folks, we're going to have to wrap it. Stephen Shaw, we will call you back closer to 2020 to find out what's going on with the relationship between yourselves and the contractor and
Yes.
where we are with the work. Thanks
I'm
for
happy
talking
to
to
be
us.
here. Thank you.
All right, folks. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more on point.
Taking the pain out of the audit preparation. Crow Jamaica now offers audit management services, AMS. With AMS, Crow team manages your external audit process by providing the following. 1. Prepare and review schedules for your external auditors. 2. Prepare responses to your external audit team queries. 3. Assign our team members to locate supporting documents during field work. 4. Draft financial statements in accordance with IFRS to supply to your external auditors. 5. Provide guidance to your internal accounting staff regarding classification and recording of transactions. 6. Review your general ledger for accuracy. 7. Prepare necessary journal entries. 8. Prepare fixed asset register. 9. Prepare accounting and operational manual for effective internal control. 10. Liaise with the company external auditors. We work with your team to achieve timely and effective external audits, resulting in timely completion of your audited financial statement, while your current staff focuses on their daily activities. Contact us, info@crowhorwath.com.jm. Website, www.crow.com/jm.
Welcome back to On Point. Extreme highs and lows for Jamaica at the recently concluded IAAF World Championships. We left the games with a proud 12-medal haul, our second highest ever since competing in the games. What did the numbers really look like for Jamaica? Take a look.
Jamaica's medal haul placed the country third on the overall table behind Kenya second and the USA on top. 43 countries won medals and athletes from 68 different nations achieved at least one top 8 placing. 209 of the 214 member federations of the IAAF participated in the 2019 Track and Field World Championships. 1,972 athletes entered the tournament, 1,054 men and 918 women. A total of 101 federations entered one athlete only. Jamaica entered 55, while the US had the largest contingent with 159 athletes. It was a championship of records. There were 3 world records, 6 championship records, 20 area records, and 80 national records.
And our On Point team hit the streets and asks, what's your take on Jamaica's recent performance at the just concluded IAAF World Champs?
I think they did quite well, because considering who went there, they did pretty well, and considering what happened before when they were really at the top of the game, they did pretty well, I think, especially the women and the field events. They did quite well.
I believe they have done very, very well, win or lose, and bring in Jamaica team, because the strenuous training that they're going through, I could not do it. And whether they made it or not, I think we all should appreciate them.
Well, we do great and excellent, and God bless them and keep them. Yeah, I'm happy for them. I'm really happy.
They did good. I'm happy and glad for their performance, you know? Yeah, so glad how they really go on, and the Chinese them drop them look button pan them look really about. They look blunder there, but the Jamaican them go on good so far. 100%, and you know, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has been crowned the queen and the hottest woman in the world right now. That's a good thing. Nobody can take the title left on her again. She got on her road.
I was pleased. Wonderful. I mean, what more could I ask for? After Bolt, no people wasn't expecting would I get 12 medal. Really didn't matter the color, we still get gold. And that is wonderful. It goes well for the future. Come next year at the Olympic, I'm really looking forward to it.
Our overall performance, people say it's promising, but I think it's dwindling. I think we need a new crop of runners. We need to invest more. We should have been investing, but I think where we fall short was that we weren't preparing properly for Bolt's departure. And it's obvious they're trying to be optimistic in the media, saying that, you know, they did well and there's a bright future ahead, which I don't see, because I honestly believe that Shelly-Ann can't go any further.
I think we did very well, because you know, during the Usain Bolt era, people were thinking like, what is going to happen after? And so I think for what we did in both the track and the field events, I think that was very well done. I'm so happy for us.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
There is interesting discussion there not too long ago with Stephen Shaw. I appreciate the fact that he's always available to face the music. However, what he has to say sometimes isn't pleasant news for the people of Jamaica.
No, it isn't. But you know, in talking to Matt Barnett, NWC, and other persons, you find that you appreciate the fact about the age of the infrastructure we have in the country. Pipes are over 50 years old. You know, talking to someone from KSAC, they said that the pipes are held together by the dirt because it's in place. And once you start pummeling a road, a new road, everything just goes. You know, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a lot of planning. It's not something that's happening overnight. It's going to be a lot of work also to get down there and correct everything. I was just talking to Mark Barnett today, and he's saying that people don't understand that when you put a new pipe in place, you have to not just lay it, but you have to flush it out, make sure everything runs, make sure it can take the pressure, because if you don't do all that preparatory thing, he said it can actually get you sick, the new pipes, if you don't flush it out properly.
Totally understood. With regards to the NWA and the work that they do, one of the fears is that 2 weeks of rain is act of God, and 2 weeks of rain could easily happen next month and the month after and the month after. And when you're talking about almost $600 million worth of rainfall in one financial year, you have no control over when it will rain, when it will be heavy. You have no control. He said it since April. You don't know when hurricanes will come. You don't know when, because Jamaica has that old infrastructure, we don't need a hurricane or a storm for a road network to crumble. You need a little bit of rain.
Just a little bit. And then compound it with all of the fact now that people not disposing of the garbage properly. So everything blocked up, you know. It's just a huge problem. You know, the infrastructure, the indiscipline issue. So I understand what they're going through. My only thing with the roadworks is that it could have been organized in a better way so that it doesn't affect people's businesses. Because I mean, it's one thing for them to say, well, we've learned, but the fact of the matter is that the people whose business have to close, they don't have a second chance.
Absolutely. Part of the legacy of the legacy roads is going to be the pain of progress.
Yeah.
People are going to talk about the inconvenience, and I don't think any beautiful carpet, Barber green carpet, is going to undo in people's minds the kind of inconvenience, and for some businesses the actual financial loss that this would have cost
people
them.
Might have been mortgaging the houses and all of those things. So, you know, I personally, I know it started from when I was at the PSOG, and I used to say to the government, give these people a tax break. Exempt them, once you're working on it, exempt them from taxation for the period that you're working on the roads.
Another point that I raised with Stephen that I really do take seriously is, whereas I don't have a difficulty with our dependence on a foreign nation state at start to be able to do some of these big projects, it can't redound only to the financial benefit of that foreign nation state. And it can't be that we only get roads. They've got to be something more. And so for me, the learnings about how to build a road quick and fast and well, that it will stand up to the test of time, has to be learnings that's passed on to Jamaican people. So that 10 years down the road, when we have another big road project, we don't have to be running to the Chinese.
Yeah, the problem though, you know, is not just the learnings, you know, is that when the problem that Jamaican contractors have been faced with and had blighted the reputation of many good contractors is that a lot of them, because of political connections, and they're supposed to put on 2 layers of asphalt and they put on 1, right? And then the problem that Jamaican workers have had is that any little thing you carry in the union and you strike. You remember what Motti had said at the time? When the lady called and said, 1 Chinese, the 5 Jamaican work. You know, that's telling. And these are some of the issues that I think have plagued us.
Well, folks, we'll continue to deal with issues right here on Point. We thank you for joining us. Thanks also to the very hardworking crew that makes this show happen every single week. Until next time, I'm Patria K.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
Keep staying on point.
On Point was brought to you by Dargin Global.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. This week, we have a very informative show lined up just for you as we tackle topics relating to safety and public order. You don't want to miss a beat, so stay tuned as the magazine unfolds.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Today we're joined by Superintendent of Police Gary McKenzie as he discusses matters of public safety and public order.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF, 1 year ago launched the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Now, the objective is to improve the safety of citizens as well as restore and to maintain public order. To tell us about the measures being used to curb the indiscipline on our roads and in the public spaces in general is Gary McKenzie, who is Superintendent of Police in the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. SP McKenzie, thank you so much for joining us and Get the Facts.
Thank you for having me today.
So that's a big title that your department has, your branch. Tell us, what do you mean by public order and safety? What are we talking about here?
Well, what we are talking about as we speak about safety is it is all-encompassing because it says that we are responsible to ensure that citizens are able to go about their business safely. That is, we have to ensure that they come to no harm. And the branch itself looks at dealing with this on the roadways within business districts, within other public areas such as transportation hubs and so on. As it relates to order, this has to be done within an organized way. And so in terms of managing traffic flow, in terms of ensuring that their citizens come to no harm whilst they do their business, that is what we are about.
Excellent. So tell me about some of the measures that you use to achieve order and safety.
Well, certainly enforcement plays a big role, but even before we do that, ensuring that we are out there being visible, putting on this management posture and ensuring that persons recognize what we are about is very important. Mm-hmm. And this, of course, increase the confidence that the public will have as it relates to how we police. Once things are not in order, then we have to take control, we have to educate, we have to enforce the laws where necessary to ensure that this is maintained.
How do you educate?
Well, certainly we do that through media. We do that through collaboration with other entities. We have our road safety unit that goes within schools. We also go within communities. Of course, we collaborate with other geographic entities or widely publicized meetings, stakeholder meetings, and so on. So we educate persons through those media.
What are some of the violations that pedestrians, people general in open spaces and on the road, what are some of the violations that people can be ticketed for?
Well, as it relates to pedestrians, we really can't take any law enforcement action in terms of issuance of tickets. But what we find is that we have quite a few accidents involving pedestrians because of lack of proper usage on our roads, meaning that they sometimes cross at corners in front and behind large vehicles. And so education is key in terms of ensuring that our pedestrians understand how to use the road safely. There are other breaches committed by drivers of motor vehicles in that they fail to observe and stop at pedestrian crossings. Some are very discourteous, and so where they commit breaches, we prosecute. For example, if they fail to observe and stop at a pedestrian crossing, that is an offense, and we deal with that. But our vigilance and enforcement helps to ensure that persons are able to safely use our thoroughfare.
Yes, yes. When PSEB was launched last August, it was National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang said that you had a few roles that he wanted you to zero in, such as limiting access to roadways of criminals, also to cut down road accidents and track the threat of criminals. How is that going? How do you grade yourself on those?
Well, I think
areas?
that we have had a substantial effect, certainly within the Kingston and region. We have been able to occupy our main supply routes, and by virtue of our presence, and when we speak about presence, we speak of active presence. So our vehicular checkpoints, our patrol of the areas, our checking of documents and licenses, running it through our police emergency to check for warrants, to check if these persons are wanted, have allowed us to deter the movement of criminals. We continue to do that. Of course, it is very important to note that at PSTEB, there are a number of strategies that we use, and that, of course, includes our motorcycle patrols, that we deal with traffic management, interception of vehicles. We also have our foot patrols within the public spaces, such as the business districts. We have our highway safety patrols, and we have our bicycle patrols as well to go in and out.
You still have bicycle
of those.
patrols? I'm not seeing those.
We do. And so we continue to use those methodologies to support and assist within our very tight areas in terms of where the public traverse.
You did say something about major supply routes? What are
Right.
those?
Well, those routes are really our main arterial roads where we have commercial activities, we have the movement of buses and so on. So these routes are very important to us as a country because they traffic vehicles that carry supplies in and out of the corporate area and across the country. Criminals like to use speed to move about and so on. So we slow them down this way, and we continue to use other strategies to ensure that persons are safe.
Okay, unruly drivers, illegal taxi drivers, illegal stopping, illegal starting. What methods are you using to address these issues?
Well, there are a multiplicity of methods that we use. One is that our presence out there deters some of them. We also enforce. We have to, of course, send the message across through education. But I want to say that in recent times, we have been getting some very good help from the public in terms of taking photos of some of these persons, because you know that as much as we like, we can't be on every street, but certainly it gives us the ability to be proactive as well. So the areas that we know that those offenses, there is a greater probability of them occurring there, then it assists us in informing us as to where we ought to place persons and so on. We try to be fluid, and we try to ensure that we listen to citizens. So we are always grateful of the feedback, of the suggestions, and we listen to those and we act as well.
Right. How can we give you feedback? Where do we send the feedback? Where do we call?
Well, the feedback can come through police emergency. It can also come to P-STEB headquarters at 928-1162. It can also go through the media houses. They have our contacts and they will get those messages to us.
Excellent, excellent. We take a break now and continue with a focus on the capacity of P-STEB to carry out its duties. Stay with us.
Did you know that you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate online or by visiting any of the Registrar General's Department offices listed on their website? For ease of processing, there are several things you need to know about the person or child whose birth certificate you are applying for. Here's a checklist. Ensure you know the correct name and spelling of the person, as well as their mother and father. You will need their date and place of birth, which is usually the name of the hospital or location they were born. Parish of birth is also important. Find out also the birth entry number along with the date and place of registration for the adult or child. Remember, for additional information on how you can apply for a copy of your birth certificate or someone else's, contact the Registrar General's Department today.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with Superintendent of Police Gary McKenzie of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, P-STEB. Thank you for staying with us. SP McKenzie, P-STEB recently got 80 motorbikes. How will this help in your operations?
Well, certainly this will greatly enhance our visibility. We will also be strategically placing them across areas where we term bad spots. These are areas where we have had fatal accidents occurring. We will also utilize them to enhance our ability to further deter the movement of criminals and to ensure that persons traversing our public thoroughfares are safe.
Yes. You started with 700 members. How is that? How effective is that? And do you need more persons? And will you get more persons?
Well, we ensure that whatever numbers we have, we utilize them effectively. Sometimes it is not just about the numbers, but it is how effective you actually use them. That is one of the things that we continue to work on daily. As you are aware, there are a number of areas, there are a number of issues that we have to deal with. And so we prioritize and we judiciously place them to ensure that we get the best fit so that the public will see the benefits of it.
Yes. Your officers are specially trained, right? Can you tell us a little about that, the training?
Well, they have been trained in traffic management. They have been trained in terms of identifying offenses and so on. One of the things they are also trained on is traffic surveillance and road safety issues. And so we also have several other units. For example, there is the Accident Investigation and Reconstruction Unit that uses scientific methodology to reconstruct accidents and give technical evidence in court. We have the breathalyzer unit, we have the road safety unit, we have also our data and traffic ticketing department. So all of that come together, plus the officers who are out there on the streets doing highway patrols, motorcycle patrols, bicycle patrols, and so on. So it is pretty much a comprehensive branch.
Yes. As you talk about ticketing, there is complaint sometimes that sometimes I get a ticket and I go to court. I didn't go to pay at the tax office, but I go to court. And when I go to court, the cost on the ticket is a lot more than it was initially. What would be the reason for that?
Well, when one gets a ticket, there's an option to pay or go to court. There is a set fine when a traffic ticket is issued. Once you get to court, that is handled by the judge. And from what I know, there is a range in terms of what can be charged and so on. So that's where the difference is.
Right. So if you don't pay the ticket at the tax office and you go to court, you should be paying the same amount if you're found guilty.
Well, that of course is determined by the judge. As I say, there's a range in terms of the fines, high and the low, depending on what the discussion is at the court. Then that decision is made by the judge.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit more about public safety and PSTEB's initiatives.
Well, certainly PSTEB, as was said earlier, is a branch that deals with public safety and of course public order. And so when we talk about public safety, the branch has a wide reach. It started out within the corporate area, but it is seeking to expand across the entire country. And of course, we have to ensure that persons are not only safe in terms of moving from one place to another, but there are also issues of ensuring that they come to no harm. And so our highway patrol, it is one of our versatile patrols because it deals with high visibility, ensuring that persons are confident that the police is there and they are able to access them, but also to prevent and detect criminal activity, as also to ensure that there are no blockage or where the road traffic laws are breached, actions are taken. So we are responsible for that. On the other hand, the issue of public order, especially within our townships and business districts, vendor management is one aspect. We have to work along with other agencies to actually look after infrastructure building. When you look, for example, at Halfway Tree in terms of accommodating the number of taxis and buses and so on, we have to plan and move ahead to ensure that as we go along, there's this organization that will help us to see an orderly society.
It is a difficult job, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Tell me, how do you see your branch, the JCF and PSTEB, how do you see your role in helping Jamaica to maintain an orderly society, thus fostering an environment for growth?
Well, it is a very important entity. In fact, we would regard it as the flagship as it relates to interfacing with the public and actually giving the public the confidence that the police is out there. When you look at their dress and so on, they are bright, they are out there, they are expected to be seen, they are expected to be active, and when they do so in a professional manner, the results are evident. As we speak, persons are really very happy about how we have demonstrated professionalism and effectiveness, especially with the back to school and so on. And so we continue to work towards being that beacon that can lead the way in terms of giving the JCF and Jamaica the kind of face that it requires to go to the future.
We are seeing some new initiatives on the police. For example, recently when we had a strike, you took the children to school, the students to school. You know, you can see you helping people to do, work on their car if it's broken down or so. So really the police is really doing a new thing. Tell me, it's 1 year later. What's the way forward for PSTEB?
Well, the way forward is continue to develop the brand, continue to be better at what we do. Of course, technology, equipping ourselves, training, that is very important. We recognize that. We also have to ensure that we listen to what the public says because service is important.
Exactly.
That is what a national police force is about. We also recognize that it is not about enforcement, but a modern police force taking into consideration social and economic development. So we see ourselves as participating in all these issues, and we believe that we can make a significant difference going forward.
And our role, how can we help you?
Well, definitely. Firstly, we want Jamaica to recognize that the JCF and, of course, the branch, it is theirs. And so we want them to conform with the rule of law. We want them to police us as well. We want them to recognize that it's very important that when things are not going good, they are able to speak about it. and to act on it as well, contribute as a citizen towards helping us to be orderly and to be lawful.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Mackenzie. This has been Get the Facts with our guest, Gary Mackenzie, Superintendent of Police of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB. Until next time, I'm Anthros Campbell. Take care.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
There's a lot more to Jamaica than just what meets the eye. I'd always loved art. It was my first love. It set me free. I did some artwork for the Half Moon Hotel. And shortly after, 14 guests showed up at my gate thinking I had a gallery up here. And that gave me the idea that I need to have a gallery. And so the guests would come up, they see the garden, ask if they could go for a walk, but everybody came back saying, we should make something of it. It was inspiring, they described it in many ways.
When they come here, we give each guest a welcome and a little history about the place before they take the tour. There's one word that they repeat over and over again. Love. They feel love in this place.
One guest we had in the early years was from Germany. And he said, you know, I spent 5 days on the beach looking up in these hills and just wondered what was life like up there. And he found us. People who travel want to experience. And this is what we try to offer, an experience.
Every guest that leaves this place say it, I came here as a guest and I felt like family.
Yeah.
Come to Jamaica and be your family.
We all have a story to tell. Mine is just one of millions that are out there, and they're all good.
Tamara Blake will be bestowed the Badge of Honor for Gallantry for her role in ensuring the safe return of an abducted infant from the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Check this out.
This is a story that could have gone many ways. But Tamara Blake stepped in and turned an unfortunate tale into a real-life happy ending. On February 5, 2019, through her vigilant and intuitive actions, Miss Blake averted the unlawful registration of birth of a stolen infant, and as a result, he was returned to his rightful parents. She is referred to as the lawyer in the family. She admits too to having an inquisitive mind.
I've been a practicing investigator since I was a child, so I guess it is just playing out on the job.
When the now convicted woman sat beside her and began sharing a story of why the baby she held in her arms was unregistered, she simply said, "This not add up."
I think the whole thing was just divinely orchestrated because I was not supposed to be at this location on the given day. I was advertising for my colleague who was not at work. And it so happened that Ms. French turned up for registration of the infant. And as a result of her coming to do the registration, not providing the information adequately that was required, you know, it raised a few red flags, and the rest of it is history. Well, I'm just happy that, you know, the family has been reunited. I'm happy to know that I could have played a part.
Some say the guilty woman met the wrong birth registrar. Miss Blake is a passionate government worker who takes her job seriously.
I am a public sector worker, a proud public sector worker. I started working March of 2004, at which point I was a customer service representative, and then I was promoted to administrative assistant, and then I was in the midst of administrative assistant / supervisor for different departments. And then I am currently a registration officer. I'm the person responsible for ensuring that all births that occurs within the hospital ambit is registered. I look forward to coming to work every day. I love my job. Yes, I do. Well, you know, a lot of persons come to the RGD thinking that when you come, you're going to be getting a hard time, whether it's for birth or death registration. That's what I can speak to. That's my portfolio. And when you leave, you know, with a smile, or when you're going to say, "What, you finished already?" You know, that gives me because when a customer is happy, that makes me extremely happy. I say to the persons who are out there who are of the thought process that it's okay to come to RGD and mislead the workers there into thinking that, you know, this baby is not registered, or in whatever scenario there is, please desist from doing so. Because the more you step out in doing these things, is the more stringent the measures are going to be, because we are eradicating and we are mitigating these acts. And I want Jamaica to help me to fight against the crime of abduction of our children. I want Jamaica to help me to make sure that babies are not missing. We don't lose our babies to abduction.
For now, she turns her attention to National Heroes Day, getting ready to gracefully accept the Badge of Honor for Gallantry, for an act of courage and bravery in identifying and reporting the registration of birth of a stolen infant. She is one of only 3 persons receiving the honor this year.
I am still in disbelief at this moment because it's not something that I was looking forward to. Didn't do what I do because I wanted to be rewarded. I am looking forward to getting my steps right. To collect an award, not for myself, but to be collecting this award of gallantry on behalf of the agency, on behalf of the nation. The world has been looking on, and this is just putting the icing on the cake to say, okay, it has happened. So I'm very happy to be the recipient to collect the award on behalf of the agency.
$650 students, $100 million. How are they connected? Through the Hospitality and Tourism Management Program offered at 32 high schools across the island. It's a 2-year program to equip future tourism workers with the requisite skills to meet the demands of the growing global industry. Graduates will be certified by the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute and received an associate degree from a local college. We're building a resilient tourism industry through human capital development.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
CARICOM News Time is brought to you by Dajin Global.
Agriculture stakeholders discuss measures to advance the sector.
The CARICOM Secretariat ramps up efforts to counter youth unemployment.
And global solidarity with the Bahamas continues. Welcome to the CARICOM News Time for the week ending Friday, 4th of October, 2019. I am Tusankin English Francis.
And I'm Justine Duncan Malcolm with the details of these and other stories. Thanks for joining us.
It was an eventful week for policymakers and stakeholders in the agricultural sector in Belize, the venue of the 12th Regional Agricultural Planners Forum and the 81st special meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED, on agriculture. Ms. Michelle Nurse was there and filed this report.
There were back-to-back and at times concurrent activities, all focused on improving the region's fortunes in agriculture, one of its most important sectors. Much of the attention was placed on how best the private sector in agriculture could be facilitated, as well as creating the enabling environment for youth and women to become more involved in the sector. The use of technology in agriculture, how the region could create resilience to climate change, and the necessity for quality data to inform decision-making in the sector were cross-cutting themes of the sessions. The intentions of the organizers of the Agricultural Planners Forum was for frank and open discussions that would lead to action at the policy level. Some of the challenges that delegates identified were heavy regulation, complicated procedures that were time-consuming, price and quality of products being produced in the region, lack of support for young people and women who were pursuing agriculture initiatives. There was heavy interest in a session that was devoted to outlining how cannabis and hemp industry could yield economic and health benefits for the region. Stakeholders' meetings on the region's sugar industry, as well as its fisheries sector, were also held in Belize. The outcomes of the meetings and activities all flowed into a special meeting of COTED on Friday, the 4th of October. The activities were supported by organizations including the Caribbean Development Bank, the Food and Agriculture Organization, the Technical Center for Agriculture and Rural Development, and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. It drew participation from member states of CARICOM, regional and international business representatives, youth and women.
The CARICOM Secretariat, with support from the European Union, is building entrepreneurial capacity among young people in the community through a series of training workshops. They form part of the wider crime and violence component of the CARIFORUM EU 10th European Development Fund. The EU's support is allowing the CARICOM Secretariat to engage more young people within the framework of the Creativity for Employment and Business Opportunity CIBO program. Program Manager for Culture and Community Development at the CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Hilary Brown, in an interview with the Communications Unit, spoke about how the program has evolved.
Over the period, the focus is really on high energy engagement of young people. They form themselves into groups, into companies. They come to the CIBO Bank and they apply for a loan and they actually give them a loan. And then they go into the field.
Is this a real loan, like real money?
Real money. They get real money.
Wow.
And we put them through the paces, of course. They have to come with a sound business idea and business plan, and we send them back outside and let them do it over and come back.
Right.
But we give them the loan, and then they go and they actually go into market and sell their product or service, and then they come back and do their profit and loss statements, and then we reward them by giving them back the loan and the profit. So this is a very unusual kind of bank, right?
Yeah.
So we're extremely grateful to the European Union for coming on board as a partner and supporting this series of SIBA workshops, 13 of them.
Right.
And though, this initiative though builds on many we have had before. And I think to the entire donor community, we're really so pleased that they have seen the vision and seen the value of this program. And so government of Japan, government of Italy, USAID, the Canadian government, we have had so many partners. The government of Spain, correct. It has been really a lot. UNDP, many of them will come out and support this program.
The full interview with Dr. Brown can be found on the CARICOM YouTube channel and on Facebook.
The government of the Bahamas is moving to ensure the future socio-economic sustainability of Grand Bahama and Abaco, according to the country's Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Frankie Campbell. He was speaking on Wednesday, the 9th of October, to security and aid personnel that have been on the ground in Marsh Harbor, the formerly picturesque main town on Abaco. He said while the road to recovery may appear slow, significant coordination among national, regional, and international experts are ongoing to quicken the pace. The minister said cleanup of impacted areas in the aftermath of Dorian is a priority towards that process, as is restoration of housing and commerce. He said the longer Abaco and Grand Bahama remain inactive economically, the Bahamas will be losing at least 20% of its economy. CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque and Assistant Secretary General Ambassador Colin Grandison concluded a busy week of engagements during the United Nations General Assembly last week. They, along with CARICOM heads of government, maximized opportunities to articulate CARICOM's concerns and positions on global issues. Ambassador Grandison briefed the communications unit on these engagements.
Those issues were once again extremely important. As a matter of fact, in addition to the general debate, which takes place during the first business week of the United Nations General Assembly, there were also a number of high-level events devoted to climate change, to sustainable development, to small island development states, and also to universal health coverage. It therefore means that once again, CARICOM member states at the level of heads of state and government, but also the level of foreign ministers and the secretary generals, that there were opportunities to focus on the issues of concern to Caribbean community member states. So that, for example, during the discussion on climate change, we were able to put forward, obviously, our concerns, to repeat, I suppose, what could be called CARICOM's mantra, 1.5 to stay alive, which is that the increasing heating of the Earth needs to be kept at 1.5 degrees, and we see that as being warding off what we call an existential threat. So that those points were made forcibly.
Tune in to our upcoming episodes of the CARICOM News Time for more on our discussion with Ambassador Grandison.
The CARICOM Reparations Commission, the Center for Reparations Research, the University of the West Indies, and Antigua and Barbuda's Reparations Support Commission will be hosting a symposium in Antigua and Barbuda from the 9th to the 12th of October. The forum, titled Western Banking Colonialism and Reparation, will feature Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Gaston Brown, Chair of the CARICOM Reparations Commission, Sir Hilary Beckles, and Director of the Center for Reparations Research, Professor Vereen Shepherd. Program Manager for Culture and Community Development here at the CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Hilary Brown, spoke to us on News Time and explained CARICOM's role in the event along with other details.
Essentially what we're exploring is the extent to which the international financial system, the banks, the insurance companies all over Europe, how they benefited. We're exploring their roots, the roots of their development and how that development was enhanced, facilitated by their participation in the trade in enslaved Africans. Right. Because obviously a system like that has to be financed. There are ships going to the west coast of Africa and to the Caribbean. These ships have to be built, have to be maintained. There is the insurance, as awful as it is, there was insurance for the human cargo that they were carrying across the Atlantic. And there actually are some really, horrifying stories about how there was it the Zong that threw 95% of the enslaved Africans on board and then went to claim insurance in Europe.
You mean off board?
Overboard, that's right. So kill them and then went to claim their insurance in Europe. So there are a number of horrifying stories, and so this symposium is going to allow us to really go in depth with the experts on what is the history behind the banking system that we interface with every day.
The full interview with Dr. Brown can be found on the CARICOM YouTube channel and on Facebook.
For more stories, you can visit the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org or the CARICOM website at caricom.org.
Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.
CARICOM News Time was brought to you by Dodgen Global.
Outsourced finance and accounting service. Growing companies face a challenge. For you to stay focused on building your business, you need solid financial management with a dependable accounting function, a resource you may not have in-house. That's where we come in. Dodgen Global provides startups and other businesses with outsourced accounting and finance solutions on a fixed fee basis. No matter what your size or fundraising status, we can tailor our services to fit your needs at every stage of your company's life cycle. Whether you want to add expertise to your existing team or completely outsource your accounting and finance functions, we offer reliable and economical options, including accounting system installations and upgrades, from simple to complex, help establishing preferred banking, legal, payroll, benefits, and HR relationships, paperless online bill payment and bookkeeping, financial reporting and advice for management and investors, financial statement audit management, sales tax compliance. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people
become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got a chance to do CXCR graduated from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them, teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, you know, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Evelyn Harris is a maroon healer in Jamaica. She has spent decades making a living from her knowledge of Jamaican plants and their healing properties. The products she makes from these plants are in constant demand, and she's happy to be able to help others. She is symbolic of many persons in the Caribbean whose traditional knowledge is a rich and often unacknowledged resource.
You have to be curious to learn about herbs. This is dog's blood, and this one is good for infection or black tube. And this one is piaba, and the piaba is what good for women who's going through menopause.
She, like many others in the region, can share stories of how her knowledge has contributed to research without being properly credited or compensated. But all that will change as more Caribbean countries are getting on board with a Nagoya Protocol that will protect knowledge held by persons like Evelyn and will serve to preserve the natural resources she depends on. The Nagoya Protocol is an international agreement that focuses on the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits from the sustainable use of genetic resources. It is an agreement that researchers and prospective business developers that use the Caribbean's natural resources need to be aware of.
The Caribbean region has an abundant variety of marine and terrestrial biodiversity, including a high number of endemic species of flora and fauna. This richness is combined with a mix of cultures and traditional knowledge. Also, it is clear that Caribbean countries recognize the importance of the unique genetic resources and associated traditional knowledge, and at the same time know that sharing the benefits of the utilization of these resources can be a way to protect the rich natural resources and bring prosperity to Caribbean people.
The International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, in partnership with the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, and the Global Environment Facility, GEF, is working with regional governments, research institutions, and other partners in the Caribbean to support countries to promote the sustainable use of the region's resources.
The needs are envisioned at 3 levels. One is at local levels, working with local communities and indigenous groups. The second level is the national level, working mainly with government and key line agencies that are going to be somehow responsible to implement the protocol, that have competencies according to the national law and the international legislation. And the third level is the regional level, working with CARICOM, for example, with OECS, other regional bodies like tourism organizations or other pertinent bodies that has responsibilities as well in the provision of the Nagoya Protocol.
Regulations will also be established for prior informed consent to access resources and the negotiation of mutually agreed terms to maximize the benefits of the protocol.
The Nagoya Protocol specifically deals with the issue of access to genetic resources and the sharing of the benefits that are gained from those resources. Now, if you think about the issue of sustainable development, if you think about the issue of natural resource management, it is necessary for these countries, who in most cases are small island developing states or developing countries, They need resources to be able to protect these natural resources that we have, these genetic resources. And so any avenue that is going to assist with making sure that some of these benefits come back in order to sustainably use these resources is something that the IUCN is always interested in providing.
The Bahamas, for example, is a hotspot for access to genetic resources for research and development. But only in one case of successful commercialization has benefit sharing with a country on the basis of an ABS contract took place.
There is a soft coral, which is a wavy coral. It's harvested annually in the Bahamas. And an extract from that was the first source of chemicals which are used today in skin revitalizing anti-aging creams. One of the researchers from the University of California came to the Bahamas and discovered a class of compounds which have anti-inflammatory properties. Later on, over 100 products in the world have been developed from the extracts from this coral.
For practitioners such as Dr. Sylvia Mitchell, the protocol will change the way how local communities and indigenous people like the Amerindians, Maroons, and Rastafarians operate.
The indigenous and local communities have to be part of the process. A very important part that the Nagoya Protocol recognizes in this whole value chain is that there are local indigenous communities all over the biodiversity-rich areas that have, over many, many generations, developed recipes. And when you develop products in many, many years later, creams, anti-cancer, whatever, many times that traditional knowledge has been taken into account, but it doesn't filter back to those local communities.
Several Caribbean countries have already started putting in the framework to benefit from the implementation of the Nagoya Protocol. In Guyana, certain key steps have been taken.
Guyana already had a system in place with regards to granting access to its genetic resources. And that system is basically done through the Environmental Protection Agency. We're the agency responsible for granting all access to persons coming into the country to do research. If persons want to enter a specific community to access a specific resource, they have to get the consent of that community. When that consent is received, what they do is they have to submit that to, we have Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs. And they would usually issue official permission saying the community has no objection with this person coming in to do such and such. When we have that, then we would issue our permit.
For Antigua and Barbuda, much has already been done, as these islands are in the process of depositing their ratification instrument.
This project will allow us to develop our regulations, to develop our policy, to set up our institutional infrastructure to now manage the issues. We don't know when any genetic materials and the associated traditional knowledge are being taken out of the country. We're not aware. It's only those people who will inform certain agencies or certain government agencies that they're taking them out. That only happens occasionally. But in instituting this Nagoya Protocol, in instituting our ABS regulations and policy, we'll be able to finally have a system to regulate this process.
The Nagoya Protocol is helping to preserve traditional knowledge that could be lost as elders die.
Over a period of time, people will come there, people have their complaints, people want to be treated for some ailments or whatever, and people just community folks will do what they have to do for them, but not necessarily telling them, you know, what is it I have done for you. Okay, if you come, you have a problem with your belly or your back or your shoulder or whatever, you will get the treatment for it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna know all the ingredients and stuff that goes into it. And even sometimes if people would probably show to you, you might see an ingredient or two that they use, but it would be probably the least importance of the ingredient that you would have seen.
As the Caribbean embraces new opportunities to benefit from our biological resources, we look to the future.
I represent 11 parishes across the island which have a membership about 5,000. These are traditional farmers who have been growing marijuana illegally for years. Now that we are on the way to have a formal industry, we are working hard to allow standards to fit their needs as grassroots people while working with governments and agencies across the world.
The Nagoya Protocol is opening doors for Caribbean people.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV is here at the Carib Cinema for Yellow Digicon 2018, dubbed Digital Marketing Innovation Ready for Tomorrow. I'm your host, Amita Prasadwe. Please stay tuned to Business Access TV for highlights.
As businesses, we need to recognize that consumer-centric advertising, consumer-centric marketing needs to be the order of the day. Because the consumer now has a lot more options. That is because the internet and technology continues to permeate globally. So there are actually over 4 billion internet users globally. That was since the beginning of 2018. And that represents over 54% of the global population. And that number continues to rise. Over 3.2 billion social media users, 42% penetration. Did you know that your WhatsApp, which is very popular in the Caribbean, there are over 38 million messages sent every 60 seconds. In every 60 seconds, YouTube, there are over 4.3 million videos that are viewed. It means that with this proliferation of content, brands have to wade through all of that information, all of that noise, to be able to zero in on who the customer is. And that is why the customer has so much power, because they can choose not to be exposed or to consume your information. Social media is excellent, and the Google Display Network, short pushing ads, is excellent at bringing interest, bringing awareness to your brand or your product. But having created that awareness, what then? Are we still expecting that customers will actually buy the first time they become exposed to your product? That, if you are expecting that, then you're in for a rude awakening. You have to court them. They have to be channeled or ushered along the sales funnel. And so, after they've been exposed to your brand in the mobile app, on a website, on social media, how do you communicate? What is your value proposition? And that is when you usher them down now to hopefully a place, an online asset that will be able to communicate more directly. Usually that's a customized landing page. Usually that's your website or to your mobile app. Something that will be able to create that dialogue. And that is where things like search engine marketing will come in, and things like remarketing, different online assets, digital marketing tools that will be able to continue that conversation until they get to the point at which they say, yes, here is my money in exchange for that good or product or service. And beyond that, you continue to develop that relationship, again incorporating social media. But the strategy from your social media at that point must be different from what it was in just bringing general awareness. Because now you're developing an advocate relationship. One of the most important things that come out of the millennial mindset is experience, experiential marketing. Focus on the experience, both online and offline, because Everybody's aware, I'm sure, that if you have a negative experience, that will cost you in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of reputation. And so guard your integrity, guard the experience with your business fiercely. Not every product that you offer will appeal to everybody. Understand who is your ideal customer for this product or service or brand at this particular time. And once you develop that persona, you start to collect information about them. Things like, what platforms do they use? Are they on all multimedia? Do you use TV here? Do you use outdoor? Do you use mobile only? Do you use social media? Where are they located? Where do they work? Where do they live? And so where do you reach them? What are the attributes? What are they interested in? Because if they're interested in motor vehicles, then you can reach them while you're looking at something related to motor vehicles. Because you're focusing on the individual. Ensure that your website is mobile friendly, is mobile enabled. Because we know that most of the searches, most of the interactions will come from a mobile device. And if your website is designed or optimized for a desktop device, then chances are the mobile experience will be less than optimal. We're talking about the future, eh? Customers now are demanding not only to have a good experience on your website, and that's it. Because they're not staying in front of the computer all day. They want that same experience on their mobile device. And it follows them in store. And from in store, back to the website. And it's continuous, it's seamless. That doesn't just happen overnight. And we as businesses in Jamaica and in the Caribbean need to understand and ensure that we embrace that.
Your audience seems very engaged today. What's the feedback like?
The feedback has been phenomenal. We did this same exact conference in Cayman. We had about 140 people. The feedback was good. We now have close to 400 people here today, and the feedback is much better than it was in Cayman. I think the energy, the questions that are coming out, the insights that are coming out, I think is good. Not only in the quality of the presentations, but also the content that is being disseminated to a wide cross-section of businesses, small, medium, and large. And I think based on that premise, I would regard today's conference as a resounding success.
So how much of a positive impact does digital marketing conferences like these have for Yellow Media Group?
It has tremendous value as it relates to establishing and reinforcing Yellow Media Group as a leader in the digital space, not only in Jamaica, but across the region. As well as, and I think more importantly, a very positive impact on our customers. Because the truth of the matter is that while we do sell digital, this conference is not only designed to focus around products that we sell. It is intended to really raise the awareness and the strategy level that businesses can utilize digital marketing and the different tools and the different benefits to incorporate and fine-tune their own strategies to be able to step into the 21st century and actually reach their customers in a meaningful way and maximize that return on investment.
As 2018, the digital marketing space continues to change. What would you say are some newer challenges that are now facing the Jamaican digital marketing landscape?
I think one of the major challenges I have found is that there is not an aggressive adoption of the importance of digital marketing to most businesses. Fact of the matter is that still it's regarded as a bolt-on. It is a whatever budget is left after we've done everything else that is important that we'll dedicate to marketing and then digital marketing. Because of how digital marketing is firmly rooted in the core structure of most businesses, I think local businesses need to more readily embrace the importance of digital marketing in actually how to reach and communicate with customers, generate leads, and then focusing on how to move those leads through the sales funnel to an actual sale, and better yet, get them to become loyal, become brand advocates. And so, businesses I think will definitely benefit more in terms of revenue from courting existing customers rather than investing over and over just to court brand new customers.
When it comes to the world of online reviews, one of the things that's really important is to engage with them, right? You cannot hide from them because they tend to have this sort of inevitability about them, right? People are going to be online looking at businesses, trying to find out information about online reviews one way or the other. If you're not on a review site, it's really important that you put your business on review sites because frankly, consumers more often than not actually have the ability through the platforms to list your business on your behalf. But why are consumers going to review sites in the first place, right? Why are consumers going out there and why are they going and seeking out this information on businesses that they're going to spend money with? And why are they doing it in droves? 97% of consumers last year used an online review site to find a local business. Raise your hand if you've ever looked up a business online before you went there. I expect everybody's hand to be up, right? So why are they doing this? Well, online review sites are no different than word of mouth, right? They are pretty much exactly the same. But rather than listening to one person at brunch or at church or in your community center, whatever it might be, you're getting the collective knowledge of a group of people, of an audience of people. So that one outlier tends to be balanced out. Businesses can say whatever they want about themselves. World famous, grandma's best, world renowned. Rashid called me an internationally renowned speaker. Thank you. I'm a take it, right? Because I can take a compliment. That's an art. But that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. But the point is that brands can say whatever they want about themselves. And consumers are savvy to that now, right? They're sophisticated, they're educated. They know that a brand can say whatever they want about themselves. So they're going to go out there and they're going to do their due diligence. And they're going to go out there and see whether or not a brand is truly being authentic, right? Are they truly measuring up to the promise that they're putting out there? And brand promise is such an interesting idea, right? Brand promise is so complicated because brand promise is no longer a mission statement. It's all of the things that are out in the world that are about your business that, when summed, equal your brand promise. When you're setting yourself on a local business directory or review site, the thing that's really nice is you don't actually have to go on there and spend that much time proactively managing it. Maybe it's something you check once a week or every 2 weeks, whatever it is. But you do need to take a little bit of time to set it up and make it unique. So make sure that you're in the categories that make the most sense for your business, but also make sure that the way that you're talking about your business is compelling, right? Photos are going to be a really big differentiator between you and people and other businesses in the area because that is a much more telling idea and much more telling example of what you do and what makes you so unique. So make sure that you're uploading at least 10 photos to your pages. And with your photos, don't just do your logo and your product offering and whatever. Focus on the people and the team because that is the heart of any business. It's the people who spend so much time doing that, right? Next thing, set yourself up to start taking some reviews in those business details, right? Do you take credit cards, things like that? Those are the little things that consumers might be looking for that it's going to be really, really helpful to have on there. Just like Rashid was saying, if you have beach access, you want to make sure that those types of additional details, because you don't know how consumers are searching necessarily, you want to make sure that you're casting a wide net for everything that you do. So don't get lazy. Make sure that you take the time and you set yourself up correctly, and then every 6 months or so, update as there are changes to your business. So again, basic business information about your business and photos. If one person has given you a negative review, that means that there are 99 people who probably thought the exact same thing, but never took the time to write it down. So as a business, the people that you should be afraid of are not the one-star reviewers. It's the people who walk away and don't tell you why they're walking away. People walk away and say, I wouldn't go back there, but never tell that business why. Because the one-star is, they love you enough to tell you why they hate you. Right? They're giving you the feedback to improve and to grow. We spend over $500 billion a year on advertising, about $9 billion a year on customer service. That is such a disconnect. Because it's your existing customers who are going to drive the most revenues for your business. So that's why the final step here is staying engaged. Stay connected, stay logged in, check your page, deliver feedback in your weekly team meetings, whatever it might be. Make sure that you are staying on top of it and that nothing is slipping through the cracks.
What are your thoughts on Yellow Digicon?
I'm excited. When I saw it at first, I was like, okay, I need to see what I can learn as much as possible because I'm at a stage where I'm trying to grow. And I think this is very good for someone who's trying to grow not just their business, but their self and their experience.
It's relatively early, but have you learned anything thus far?
Definitely. I took some notes, especially with the presentation by John Carl about the reviews. That's where most of my notes came from because it's not something that was at the forefront of my mind, but now I'm considering everything that might be as of equal importance as many other marketing functions that I do.
So give us some feedback on your presentation.
So one of the things that I noticed with the audience is, one, the amount of energy was insane, but also the kind of fear of online reviews. And I think that's a really natural thing. I think people tend to be nervous that, I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to get rejected or I'm going to get negative feedback, which is a natural fear when you're a small business owner and your reputation is a lot of times tied to your revenues. But what people don't understand, I think what people need to embrace is that every single business, every single person has the opportunity to improve and the opportunity to grow. So online reviews and feedback is the only way that you can do it, and it's the only way that you can really build a sustainable business. So I think that was one of the most exciting things to communicate to people is that, online reviews are not something to just be afraid of. It's something that you embrace and you use and is a tool that can help you be better every single day.
What are your overall views on Yellow DigiCon?
I think this conference is wonderful. Anytime that you can get people out of being in front of their computers or off their cell phones and in person, you will always, the connections that you make in real life are so valuable and more valuable than the connections that you make solely digitally. Connecting with somebody in person is much better than connecting with somebody on LinkedIn because you actually get to experience and understand and learn about that person. And those connections, from a small business perspective, are the ones that you can take back to your business and that then become tools for you, not just kind of these amorphous alien, interactions.
Stay tuned for more Yellow DigiCon after the break.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thank you for joining Business Access TV. We go straight to stage with the Yellow DigiCon 2018 highlights.
So let's talk about the new global customer, okay? The new global traveler. Because you need to understand what those expectations are in those consumers that are coming into your market, who are actively looking for you while they're here, okay? So they value your local perspective. We want authenticity. We want adventure. We want jerk chicken. And we want it on the side of the road, right? That's what we want. And I'm gonna search for jerk chicken at the side of the road. So we gotta engage, we have to listen, we have to respond, and not just for 2 reviews, always on, right? And further than that, we need to know if it's working. We need to define our success metrics. And most importantly, we need to tell our stories. The expectation now is that consumers, not just travelers, but consumers want direct connect with brands. They expect immediate responses. They expect accurate information. Don't send me in the wrong direction with an unmarked pin on a map. That's not going to make me very happy. Also, surprise and delight me. Tell me why I need to come to you. Give me that excitement about why I need to come to you, because sure enough, I'm going to share my experiences. I tell you, Whoever's following me on Instagram, look out, because there is just, you know, a slew of my adventures happening in my stories, and because you know what, that's what I want to do. I want to show. I'm not gonna lie, there's a bit of a snowstorm in April in Canada right now, like a really bad one with ice. Guess what I've been posting? That's right. Sun, cocktails, on the beach. I'm having fun in Jamaica. That's right. So I want to do that because we like to brag, right? So leverage that. You know, create those opportunities to engage and listen and share that stuff because they want you to be the personality. So if we're listening and responding, that means we could actually be listening and responding even on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. With posts like this from real people, we could be responding to them directly. We can find this content through hashtags, right? And, you know, listen and sort of respond. And if you are that brand, not the thank you for posting, but, you know, great shot, or ask them even to use their content. Video content is king. Also is live streaming. I'm sure many of you are. Is anyone live streaming this right now on Instagram or Twitter? Very big trend, very big trend. And now, I mean, I can tell you right now, I was Facebook Living as I was walking on the beach to my kids. They weren't too happy about that. Oops. But it is a really big part, right? So share that content. Use your social pages to reshare that content. Comment on those user posts. And it's not just Instagram and Twitter. It is also YouTube. It's also other social channels. It's review sites, okay? So mix up this content. Now let's take it back to how you can actually leverage these trends and leverage these conversations, right? So here we go. A couple, really cool things. I was so happily surprised last night when I was doing some searches for some local businesses that were doing a really great job. Are they in here at all? Right? So their food is good, but guess what? They're also really good at sharing their stories. And they're also really good at listening to their customers. So for example, there were quite a few posts on these with comments saying, what was this one? I went for dinner last night and you were closed. Perfect opportunity, right, to listen and respond, saying, we are very sorry we missed you. We'll be waiting with your favorites tomorrow. Simple. Simple. It's the best marketing vehicle there's ever been. It's got to be authentic, very authentic. Not, we've got a special on Moringa. That doesn't work anymore in the conversation economy, right? It needs to be a very powerful narrative. So the pushed out content, or I would call brand owned content, should be incorporating the same tone, right? So even your brand's posts that you're putting on to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere need to kind of adjust to be more conversational and creative, right? And to invite responses. Facebook and Instagram specifically are a pure media channel. No free reach, pure media channel. Although very efficient and very effective because massive population of people are communicating it on and around it every single day. So yes, you need to be there, right? You need to be unique. You need to show that off. You need to be fun or quirky, if that's your brand. Or you need to be really reserved and smart, if that's your brand. This is what you need to do. You need to resonate with your target audience. Your content, your personality, your conversations, this is the new marketing, okay? Shift it a little bit more. I'm gonna get a little bit deeper because this is part of it, okay? You also now as a business need to be always on all the time. This goes beyond the review sites. This goes into Facebook reviews, Facebook send messages. How many in here have their send message enabled right now? We're getting to a place where we as customers expect it always on. If it can't be on, then you create sort of a frequently asked questions and can I see a menu, that sort of thing. But you need to show that you're always listening and responding. Note that customers today expect a 6-hour response. I would say on Facebook specifically, I'd say that's shrunk, okay? So reviews are also happening on Facebook, and they're very important, okay? Facebook reviews are extremely important, as are all of the other review sites, equally important. Directory sites and review sites such as Yellow are extremely important, and you need to listen, you need to ensure your listings are accurate, and you need to drive those customers then to a conversion, okay? And if you don't do that, to the reference John made about Googling it, you won't appear. So actually reviews are now impacting your distribution and your ability to be found by customers. And this is across the board. This isn't just Yelp, this isn't just TripAdvisor, everywhere, okay? So they need to be managed. So respond quickly, encourage reviews, and always answer.
How important is it for business owners, marketing experts in general, to learn the fundamentals of digital marketing?
That's an excellent question. I just had that same discussion. I would say that fundamentals have to be there, everybody, and I just discussed the fact that I believe, especially here in Jamaica, you have a very young, vibrant business community, it seems. The fundamentals are the key. So what I would say is that the universities around here and the education, that is your opportunity to get the fundamentals into that next up-and-coming group, and it's critical because the other thing is this space and consumer behavior will continue to evolve. So if we have a great grasp of kind of how we've gotten here and how quickly that has changed, but we understand it's basic marketing. It's no different, it's just online.
What would you say are the main takeaways of your presentation today?
Well, I had some other great colleagues who talked a lot about strategy and return on investment and how to measure and what resources and, reviews and how to apply. So my background is really in tourism and hospitality as well as strategy. So I really felt that because Jamaica in itself is such an iconic travel brand and you're known across the globe. So it was my opportunity to say, hey, these conversations about your brand around your core brand pillars like your music and your culture and the people and the food, these are the things that you can tap into, right? So I really talked about untapping the potential of the buzz and the conversations going on, and not just on the social networks that you're comfortable listening to or engaging in, but really honing in on what are your inbound travelers expecting from you and where are they going to talk about your brand. And so really I just talked about, I gave some examples on how to listen, how to respond, not to sell, and really just focused in on that potential.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV. Cameo brings the creative industries to life.
highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art, and I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
How many of you all use a marketing plan on the daily basis? You execute it. Ooh, 1 out of many. 2, 3, maybe 10, right? For the rest of you, how will you think about how you're executing marketing tactics without a plan? You don't know what to do. You don't know your expectations, and so you celebrate that one kind of comment. Who posts and they get one comment and they go, yay, social media. Right? That's so true, right? You go, yay, this works. And then you get no sales from it. No one's converting. You go, boo, social media, I hate it. Well, we have to start realistically understanding through first developing a marketing plan so you can understand what a lead is and your expectations. Next is, you don't have a focus. No, you don't. You may believe you do. So target marketing is crazy. It can be crazy sometimes and very difficult. So how many of you all right now in your marketing campaigns are targeting more than 4 target audiences? Yeah, I know, you're out there. You don't want to raise your hand, right? Because you know where I'm going with this, right? 1 target audience. You got 1 target. How many of you are targeting? What are you targeting? Nobody's targeting? You're not doing business? You're just kind of waiting for them to come? You're going, whoever buys my business, I'm all right with it, right? I want that to stop, right? I want that to stop. I absolutely want you to start developing a more focused marketing plan so you can get the leads that you want. Because who wants to make money? All of us, right? Next is, we confuse sales efforts with marketing efforts. So you believe that your marketing is going to get you paid. So listen closely to my simple solution so you can understand. Marketing gets you leads, sales gets you paid. So now we're going to start focusing on practicing more efforts that will get us leads so that we can cipher into getting paid. Here's the reality of marketing. It is for your customer for tomorrow. Marketing is about sustainability, not immediate profitability. And so we believe that if we do marketing, that tomorrow you will get paid. And it's not true. Tomorrow you will have the interest and attraction of a person when you market correctly. On the top half of our funnel is marketing efforts. It's awareness and interest. The bottom half is decision and action. Marketing, especially in social media, is going to help you get attention so you can get interest, so that you can start to do sales activities to have them make that decision. So we have to figure out how many leads is possible and how many leads you want to get when you're marketing, when you're doing your marketing on to social media. So how many? What does that look like? 80-20 rule. Anybody know about the Pareto rule? I know, right? So at first glance, this says 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Now that sounds pretty cool, right? You mean to tell me only 20% of my efforts? I could do like 20% and like I'm gonna get 80% reward from doing 20%? That's not what it means at all. You guys know this, right? So in marketing, it's 80% of your leads should come from 20% of your marketing. That means your marketing has to be so tight. It has to be so direct, so specific that you're getting the majority of your leads from it. So it actually means, this Pareto rule means that you need to get more efforts, more tight with your targeting market. So how do you do that when you generate leads? It's going to help you to increase your sales. By condensing down, you're going to be able to expand yourself. I know that sounds kind of crazy, like retract to expand. Absolutely, because you'll have more focused efforts and you'll be actually attracting the people who want to buy your things. So it is important to know that when you get better leads, increasing the sales is important. All money It's not good money, is it, right? We have some, yeah, I know. We have some of those clients, or some of those clients we wish we didn't have. It costs too much to even deal with them in the first place because they're not your target. You want to start really developing leads that are going to get you paid the way you want to get paid. It's also going to help you make better budget decisions. How many of you all have, I'm laughing because you're going to laugh at the question I'm going to ask you. How many of you all have marketing budgets? Right, marketing budget. What is a marketing budget, right? So here's a simple method about marketing budgets for you. And you should have a marketing budget. We're marketers. You should have a marketing budget. How much are you willing to spend inside of the grocery store on a particular product? So think of it that way. You really need to start investing in your marketing because you cannot just post and people appear. If you build it, they won't come. In fact, you need to build it, drag them over there, beat them in the head. You have to get them to see. In fact, if you didn't know, it takes 7 times in marketing for someone to see an ad for them to pay attention. Now, how many of you have paid attention 7 times to the same ad? I know, non-existent. So I'm going to teach you some ways to get you in front of your ideal audience to help you make better budget decisions. Well, I qualify leads by the number of people that I actually talk to during the week. Oftentimes, specifically me, I use LinkedIn to have conversations, at least 10 conversations a week with people. With my percentage, we talked about 80-20, but I'm in that kind of a miracle lane where out of every 10 people I talk to, 7 of them buy something from me. So whether it's a book, because they like me. You like me. They like me. You like me. I know you like me. If you don't, you will after this. They know, like, and trust me, right? How many of you all buy from strangers? Hey, I got some shoestrings. You want to buy them? Right, the string, like, you don't need them, right? It's strange. But if you knew me and you were comfortable with me, you'd buy my shoestrings. So it's important, it is absolutely important to engage and to qualify those people that you want to buy what you have, right? Like, shares, and comments can be leads if you respond back. How many of you all get likes on your post and don't say anything? I know, right? So you look at it or you say thank you. That's polite. Then what happens? It's a lead. They're interested. They're attracted, apparently, because they took the time to like. Now, what about the people who love it, especially on Facebook? They put the love, and that takes a lot of effort because I have to move the thing, right? So that means I really like you because I took the effort, the other 10 seconds to actually place it to love you. You have to start talking to those people. Say hello to them and more than hello. Take them to your inbox. Have a discussion. Okay, so you're tired of the leads, you know how to qualify leads, you're ready to get to the good part, right? What platform should you be on to get these leads? So Facebook is large in Jamaica, YouTube is large in Jamaica. You guys are using Facebook much more than any platform. I'm sorry, content managers, I know you're not gonna like this. Content is becoming the new spam. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're putting out content, who's reading it? I know you're not. You're not, Joel. I know you're not reading the content. You're not reading content. So I want you to start building content for your audience. In order to do that, you're going to have to get to know them. Think resource, not retail. Stop selling to people. Nobody wants a used car salesman, please. They want a resource. They want to talk to people, right? They want to know, like, and trust you so they can buy you. And video. You cannot make a mistake with that on Facebook, and it lends to a more casual conversation. All right, Pinterest. So I know that you're using it to search, right? I want you guys to start using it to lead to inquiries because you want leads. How you can do that, here's one way. Create a contest and get them to your website, right? Create a contest on Pinterest because they're searching to get onto your website. That way you can lead them to becoming customers. Twitter. Did you know you have to tweet 8 to 20 times a day? No, you didn't, did you? A tweet life lasts 30 seconds. No. So if you're tweeting, it's the newsroom. You want to lead them to a chat. That way that they can be a lead. All of this is about engagement. Every piece of it, every piece of social media is about media for you to be social. So you have to get engaging. Stop thinking that posting and going will help you. All right, these are my favorite, Instagram and LinkedIn. This is where the magic happens in business. I told you that my closing rate is 70%. I can't make this up. I don't make this up. There is where the people, the decision makers are there. They're making decisions. Start to make partnerships. I don't care if you have your curry chicken stand on the side. It's still, you can make business partners. Maybe there's some way you can possibly. I'm telling you, this is not unbelievable. It happens every day. I can't emphasize enough that you need to start to invest in your marketing so that you can build better leads, so you can make more money, because after all, isn't that the point? Thank you, guys.
So it's your first Yellow Digicon experience. Talk to us.
Exciting. I love Jamaica Digicon. You guys are really engaging, involved, knowledgeable. You know exactly what you want. You want to ask questions. It's straightforward, and I can appreciate that because you want to grow. Like, these businesses absolutely want to grow, and I'm here to help. I was here to help.
What would you say is the main takeaway of your presentation today?
I keep it simple. Don't oversimplify the process of trying to get all this data, use all these platforms without actually creating a plan. So keep it simple.
Word of advice to the marketers here today.
Sales gets you paid. Marketing gets you leads. And you really need to understand that process first, and don't discount your marketing because it's not getting you sales, because it's not supposed to.
What are your thoughts on today's staging of the Yellow Digicon?
Awesome, just awesome. We've had digital conferences in the past, but this one tops it all. I think it's just the new areas that we're featuring, mobile marketing, social media management, and social media marketing, so it just tops all the others. And of course, we're taking it from an international perspective. So far, in comparing, the turnout has been super compared to previous years. So it just shows that Digicon is growing.
You mentioned international. Talk to us about your presenters here today.
Yes, so we have presenters from Canada and from the US. We have Alicia Whalen, who dealt with social media management. We have Sherry Washington, who spoke about, just getting leads online. And what I like about her presentation, she clarified outrightly the misconception about marketing versus sales, and based on the response from the audience, you could see that she was hitting the right notes there. And of course, John Carroll, that spoke about getting online reviews. So in summary, and of course, our Google representative will be talking more about mobile marketing.
Why did Yellow feel the need to put on such a conference, Yellow Digicon?
Because of the growth of digital marketing, we're seeing where more and more persons are spending time online. And of course, digital marketing is really showcasing your goods and services online, be it social media or through your website or through various search engines. So, Yellow would pretty much be irresponsible to not be focusing on that. And of course, our mantra here at Yellow is to just put our customers' businesses in front of their target audience.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source
for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Did you know that Google's algorithms are actually smart enough to differentiate between someone curious about learning about Jamaica, who are interested in traveling to Jamaica, who are already decided that's where I want to go on vacation, I just need to find the best deal, and who've already bought one? And it's not about personal data. We don't have that. It's about understanding the situation. What do you really want to do? That way, we can target you effectively and show you the correct ad or the correct experience and video so you don't have to worry about that. We can also learn a little bit about your behavior, Someone at the beginning with John, I believe it was, or I hope it was with John, they asked a question about Facebook and Cambridge Analytica, how it's really scary how much information companies have about you, right? Well, we at Google don't have your personal information, but we are able to identify common traits that's not identifiable to you. We won't ever be able to zone in on Daniel. Ooh, we know that's Daniel looking at videos about puppies. No. We know that there's a man who's very interested in puppies and who might be interested in buying a new Labrador. So we'll do that. We'll help. And that's what the context is all about. So that in itself means assisting someone, be able to create a business model for assistance means first, you got to show up. What does show up mean? It means, like Target, like a supermarket, it means our attention span is so short that if you're not there when we need you, when we're looking for you, you might as well not be. So let me give you an example, a tangible example that you can copy. We have Target. Target is a supermarket, international. And when we're talking about supermarkets, we're used to the idea that someone has to buy groceries. They have to drive up, choose everything in the store, and then pay and leave. But did you know that Target found the secret formula? Even though we still have to go to the store, we now can pre-shop online. So what happens if we combine the offline experience with the online? We make a seamless omni-channel transition. So what did Target do? They realized they built an online shop. Not because they expected people to buy online, although they did, but they expected to be present whenever they needed. If they were baking a cake and all of a sudden they realized, I'm out of flour, I might as well make a wish list. Hey, I need flour. Remember to buy flour the next time. I really enjoyed that chicken meal I ate, so I got to write down the ingredients. And Target helped with that, helped making a shopping list that ultimately led to people buying more in their store. It was easier for customers to remember what they wanted. So, what does show up mean? It means if you need road assistance 24/7, you gotta be there 24/7. not being there when they need you the most, when they're scared the most, can also be the key difference between great brand image and normal brand image. It means if you're in the service industry, right? Plumbing, restaurants, guides, surfing lessons, scuba lessons, if you're not there when they need you, when they're curious and impatient in that moment, you might as well not exist. And it's not about appearing sometimes, it's about always appearing. It's about re-engaging, but not spamming. So you have to wise up. How do you wise up? Well, what if I told you that we all have characteristics, likes, and wants that we consciously don't know about? Well, Sonos is an audio company. They build stereos, right? You wouldn't expect them to need a very complex, very complete marketing campaign. But what did Sonos do? They realized that young people love an audio experience. They love quality, they love tenacity, they love power. They want to do parties at night, they want to do parties in their bath, they want to listen to music all the time. But Sonos wanted to engage with those users, we wanted to find them, but the truth of the fact is Sonos didn't know how to find those kinds of people. What did they do instead? They connected with online marketing, with partners and premier partners that allowed them to share data, share intent with Google, with Facebook, with Yelp, with everyone. And that in itself, we helped them find the market, be able to identify between the crowd who's more willing and who's ready to buy a new stereo for their home or their bath. So that in itself, we made their targeting more efficient for them. We did all the hard work. You guys just need to be able to want it. And what did that lead to Sonos? That led to an increase in brand, 420%, like you can see in the slide. All of a sudden, college dorms, everyone knew Sonos. Before, when we heard audio, maybe we thought Mitsubishi, maybe we thought Sony, Bose, but who knew Sonos even existed? And now he outsells everyone else. He's the number one. And he started small. If you don't believe me, think of the Uber example. We all thought taxi industry was going to stay the same. You know, you're in the curb, try to signal a car in the rain. But all of a sudden, with the comfort and easiness of an app, we can do it every time, every day. So help us help you grow. But to be able to grow, you have to keep up. You have to speed up. Because like I said, we got a very short attention span. Think 3 seconds. That's going to be your rule from now on. If we don't get what we want in 3 seconds, we're gone. We're that impatient with you guys. So then what does that mean? It means that you will lose half of your leads if you don't answer back in 3 seconds. And that doesn't mean a review. That doesn't mean a retweet. That means that if I want to know about your costs for dinner or your travel packages, I expect to be able to find the information in as little as 3 seconds. And since we all love our smartphones and we all love the mobile data in Jamaica, we expect that to be true. Just kidding. But there's a silver lining in it. Did you know that the world average is actually 24 seconds? So, how can the world average be 24 seconds if our attention is only 3? Well, here's the little secret for you guys. All we need to know is get some feedback. Basically, if we go into your mobile website and we start seeing some colors appear, changes, if we see that it's working in less than 3 seconds, that's enough. We'll start eventually paying attention to other information. If it ends or finishes loading in 24 seconds, then that's okay because we got our answer in 3. All of a sudden, it's like we knock on the door and we might hear someone yell, "Coming!" Then we'll wait. We're like, okay, someone heard me. It's the service is going to come. That's what the 3-second rule meant. But if I knock on the door, nobody answers or calls out, and 24 seconds later you just simply open the door, by then you're going to see nobody. That's what we mean.
Wow, it was a fantastic forum, very informative, and the presentations were they were just to the point, and very interesting. There was, some of those long presentations that people will be sleeping before they finish. Nope, wide awake, very interactive. Yeah, it was great. Awesome experience.
And that's it for our highlights of the Yellow DigiCon 2018. I've been your host, Amita Prasad-Webb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV. Serious about business. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com. Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process? Because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start the production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with just proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.